Hi, everyone. As many of you know, I've been taking weekly lessons with Will on my two horses, Carra the Andalusian and Allspice the Halflinger. This is Carra, and at the end of our lesson today, we had so many good moments that Will asked me to post some of the highlights of our lesson. And I had mentioned to him prior to the lesson that she had really been connecting from tail to nose a couple of times during our rides over the week. And she was actually kind enough to go over and above and connect quite a few times during our lessons. So I thought it would be interesting enough to post because this was the first time she's ever really been that consistent. And Cara's an 18-year-old Andalusian. She's had a baby, but has had very little done with her. And so she spent most of her 18 years just, occasionally being ridden. She had maybe 60 days of training under her before she came to me. And we've been working steadily with Art to Ride, but our progress has really fast forwarded since we've been doing the lessons, as you can see. I had posted a video a couple weeks ago of her and a lesson, but if you go back and look at that compared to this, you'll already see a difference. And we've already done the walk portion as well as the lunging portion, so this is us riding. And Cara's got a few things that she does throughout that you can see. Her head will kind of pop up. We're doing some leg yields here. The first one around wasn't very consistent, so we're doing it again. And she's actually stepping into the stretch quite nicely there, and you can see her really reaching for the contact and sustaining it, which is huge for her. You can really see that back end swinging, and I could actually feel that back come up and the shoulder lifting for the first time, and it was a big thing. Here she is holding that nice consistent stretch, and as she does that, I'm just trying to keep my body quiet to show her that that's the right thing to do. When her head does pop up, and it does because she's not consistent, I'll try to move the haunches out and just tap with my leg to try to get her to move the haunches out, and then just step deep under her body. And then as I do that, I can lighten my seat and she will generally reach for that contact again more and more. And here she is doing a pretty great leg yield with that nice stretch as well. She pops out of it a little bit, but I just try to relax my back and just really allow that energy to swing through. And then she comes right back down into that nice stretch. And again, this is more than she's given us really ever. So it was kind of an important moment for both of us. So I'm really glad we were able to get this on video. So we're coming down the long side now. And I'm just trying to facilitate a nice big stride on her. And she's got actually a pretty decent walk, but she starts and stops a lot. She's kind of like a stuttering car a bit. And when we go into the trot work, you'll see there's a lot of inconsistencies and the rhythm just isn't there yet. Here she is doing a much better leg yield than she did before, ending with a beautiful stretch. And I think you can probably see me smiling and then trying to hold that as we go into our circle. And there she is accommodating me again, just doing a beautiful job. So super pleased with her. And I think I said good girl a little bit too emphatically, and she took that as stop, which she does. Another one of her habits that we're working on is her work ethic. And you can see she lacks a lot of muscle tone. And again, she's really never been worked much in her life. And her body does show that. So we do a lot of work at the walk and a little bit of work at the trot, but she's really not strong enough. In particular, you'll see her transitions are very weak. In fact, she'll pin her ears back as she gets going, and then it'll take her a couple of strides to just relax into the work. But it is very difficult for her, and Carra is very aware of where the exits are. So you'll see the exit on the far right. As she gets close to that, she will kind of drift in that area. So I have to make sure that she'll continue to continue to go around the circle instead of just work towards the exit. And she's never actually taken off, but you can tell she's kind of leaning in that direction. So you'll see that quite a bit. And it's actually happening less and less. And it used to take me an entire circle to get her back into schooling mode. Now it takes about a quarter of a circle, and you'll see several examples of that. So here she is. We're just working on a little bit of shoulder ins, which is still very new for her. But we try to maintain that shoulder in as we go into our circles as well to keep those haunches moving out. And I think you see me smiling pretty big because I'm pretty happy with her. I can really feel her back up under me. And when you feel that, honestly, there's really no feeling like it. And you know for sure the moment a back comes up, that's the feeling that you're going for. So actually having that happen in real time as Will's coaching you through it just really helps with those aha moments. You know, this is what it feels like. This is what I can do to facilitate that. And I've noticed with her, if I just lighten my seat and pull my shoulders back just slightly behind the vertical and lift myself, I can feel her coming up underneath me. And that's usually when she stretches, because I used to have a bad habit of just jiggling the inside rein and just kind of, poking at her. And it became more me nagging. And by the way, this is my attempt at a shoulder in. Those hands are really not what you want. My outside leg should be back to hold the haunches. My inside leg should be just slightly behind the girth. My shoulders should parallel her shoulders and my hips should be straight. And at no point in time should I be crossing those reins across her neck. So not correct. I was overcompensating. And of course that doesn't get you anywhere. Doing it correctly does. So, something that I need to keep, be aware of. But anyway, there she is going back into that great connected stretch that she's been doing that, we were just so thrilled about with this ride. We're probably going to come around and try that shoulder in again. And with luck, my hands will be better and my body position will be better. So, and yes, much better. Yeah, you can see me nodding. I'm pretty happy with that. And she's stepping nice and deeply through that stretch. And she does in her shoulder in lose just a little bit of that length of step. So we always reinforce that when we come back onto our circle. And here she is again, just so happy with that. I've been waiting months for this moment where she gets it, she's consistent, and I really actually feel that sense of positive feel while she's actually reaching for the bit and holding the bit and then pushing forward, and it really is a great feeling. So it just feels like we've passed a big milestone today. So a few more steps of shoulder in while we go on to our circle. We're probably going to be transitioning into a trot pretty soon because it looks like we've done some pretty great walk work here. And again, when we do trot, you're going to see, there's that head. She's making a beeline for the exit. She's uncomfortable. And I just try to hold my body still. And as her head comes up, I'll follow her with my hands so that there's still that connection with her. And again, she gave me a couple of steps, but then we're by that exit and she would very much like to go that way. And I just try to follow the contact with my hands so that she's not escaping it, but it's not punishing her. It's just holding. And as she reaches forward and I feel that back come up, then I immediately release. So it's kind of like an ebb and flow with your hands. And you can see as she comes around, it takes her a lot less time to actually get into the zone. And it is a struggle for her. As you can see, there's not much stifle. And she's doing a pretty fantastic trot for her ability at this level. So we never do a whole lot of it, but we try to get the best quality trot that we can out of her. So she's also prone to pay attention to virtually anything. And as you can see, when we said that was good, stop, she she will just put on the brakes and just kind of plop into a halt. And, that's definitely something we'll need to work on. But she definitely knows what whoa is. But she at least immediately started off on a nice stretchy walk. So I'm happy with that as well. We tried a few figure eights to make sure that she was going to be working over her back, because if she can maintain a switch of direction in the bend while staying over while keeping herself in the stretch, that tells me she's staying over her back. So that's a good sign. So we have switched directions, and here she is just lengthening that stride and really reaching for that bit. We've got a little bit of a shoulder in here, and she's doing quite well, and we continue that shoulder in onto the circle. And I'm giving her a little pat there, because if I say good girl, she might interpret that as stop. And right now she's done a whole lot. It's a hot day, and she was, she had a little more in her, but she was quite willing to stop. But I'm very happy that what she gave us was pretty darn great. So we're coming around the circle again, and she's resigned herself to another circle, but we're going to build that work ethic, and pretty soon she's going to be strong enough to carry me well through an entire workout, and actually see this as a fun game, which when she's feeling good and we do a lot of walk work, she really enjoys what we're doing, because it's comfortable for her. She just got her saddle fitted, and it fits her beautifully. She's happy in the work. She just got a new bit. That's me saying good girl really loud, and then she whoa'd. So, I want to praise her very much, and she just kind of takes as an opportunity to stop. So here we are trotting in the other direction, and you can see her struggling to find the rhythm. And again, I just hold my body still and just stay with her and try to keep a contact while she comes up and down. And here we are by the exit again. But you'll see she'll actually settle into a pretty great trot, again, for her level of fitness. So that's probably the longest she's actually stayed in a trot, really working over her back. So again, I'm quite happy with what she's doing and what she's giving me today, considering how hot it is. But she was just really trying, and again, there was just a big aha moment, and transitioning down, and that wasn't a bad transition for her, and going right back into that stretch and a nice active walk, big deal for her. So again, super, super happy with our lesson today. And here she is really extending, looking at the exit. I've got my leg on her to encourage her to come around, and she takes it quite well. We're doing a change across the diagonal, and she's taking my good girl as, no, we're going to stop now, but I'm encouraging her forward, because it's important that she stops when I say stop. And I know that she's got more walk work in her. She can do a lot of walk work. So, good. And we do a lot of work on that 20-meter circle, because it really helps to keep her hind end pushing underneath. And when she's stretching like this is where you can really see those neck muscles light up, because most of her development is a whole lot of fat, and she's got a pretty cresty neck that just kind of flops. But I'm actually starting to see some muscle. And here we are transitioning. In fact, you can see a little bit of that muscle right there. Transitioning to a trot, and she's going to do some pretty fantastic trot work here. And you can see how flat it is, but as that stifle gets stronger, she's actually going to have a very nice trot. So we're just going to be patient and allow her to develop. And when it's there, she's going to show us, and I hope to catch that on video too, because I think it's going to be a pretty fantastic moment. So I am just trying to keep my shoulders straight and my chest lifted, and myself as relaxed as possible, just following her with that movement. We do an abrupt transition into a walk. But again, she stays nicely over her back and she's stretching beautifully. So, and that is just a lovely stretch. And that was the moment we just decided to stop because, it's just not going to get any better than this. And it's already pretty fantastic for her. So good girl, Carra. And thank you so much, Will. This is probably our 8th or 9th lesson that we've been doing online. And I can't tell you how much of a difference it's made in our progress. I'm so pleased with her. So thank you for listening.